Welcome to Tales from the Interface Live. My name is Emmanuel, and this is my show, my weekly show, in which I share with you my drawing table and show you a little bit about how I work, what tools I use, and all that good stuff. In a slowly decaying city, social class is determined by the amount of time you spend in a virtual world called the interface. So this week I am continuing on finishing the ink on the newest chapter of my book. And also, what else this week? There's a new page online that you can check out from the current chapter. And also, something new this week, I started making little kind of holiday postcards. And if you go look in my social channel, you're probably gonna see them. But this is let me just make it into view. This is what they look like. Hoo hoo hoo. Yeah, so this is my little postcard that I sent to people who I still have addresses for because I lost most of them. So if you've bought my book and would like a postcard, maybe message me so I can get your address, because I don't have the address of everyone. But I'm gonna send those to the addresses that I have. If you would like a postcard and you never bought my book, we can also come to an arrangement. I'm just asking for basically the like shipping and the cost of material. So let's say if you're in Australia, I would ask you something like $4 Canadian plus whatever you want, as a kind of a pay what you like scenario. So just message me if you're interested in that, and I'll send you one your way. You can check on Instagram. I'm gonna post because I make little drawings in each of them. So on Instagram, I post those drawings. So if you're interested in seeing what kind of thing I'm gonna do. So this week, as I said, I'm continuing inking my this chapter. The first pass of inking is done. So I could call it quits and say, okay, that's good enough. But no, I am going through every single page and adding details. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna do today. So let me share my screen. Oh, and by the way, welcome to Olga and Art and Philippe Audet, who started following me on Twitch and Facebook. All right. So this is my page I'm gonna be working on today. As you see, I mean, everything is pretty much there, but it can be a lot better. I think I can add a lot of detail to make it pop. So this is the page I'm gonna start by working on the background here. So you can see the characters are in their own separate layers. And also one thing I've been doing is like taking panels from my previous chapters and just kind of sticking in the frames. After all, they're selling these adventures, so it makes sense that these would be there. So I'm just gonna create a new layer and start adding detail. Oh, there is a perspective guide somewhere here. All right. So, just going in and seeing just these little things will make it seem a lot more real. Just little cracks, little thing like this. It just makes it all much more interesting. So yeah, nothing much new this week. You know, it's I'm just continuing working on these. It's going well, but you know, adding all those detail, obviously, you know, it kind of takes time. But it's totally worth it. I find I really like how it makes the page much more interesting visually to look at. So as you can see, it's really, I have a few different kind of pattern that I do, like little lines. I could probably make a brush or something, but then I don't know how natural it will look. I should try that, like just make a brush, and because it's basically, this is kind of my basic kind of texture that I do. Although it's not like it's too complex, like it's little lines, little specks, little things. I also started adding little pills everywhere. I don't know why I'm doing that. I feel like it could be something that's distributed, you know, like candy to people. Like a little bit like in Brave New World, they have the Soma, I believe that's called. And it's kind of the drug that everybody takes to make them. It's just an I think it's like an antidepressant or something, and if you look at the context. And there was a good movie about antidepressant in US, and I feel like might not be such a big problem in Canada. That's why I'm saying US. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people get hooked on those. It's pretty bad. So basically, I'm just breaking the perfection of it. Yeah. Maybe like a little poster with some weird symbols on it. So one thing I haven't worked out perfectly is where do people in this world know how to read? And I think my answer is I think they kind of do, but they never do. So they have the knowledge but no practice. So they can make out words, they can even write some words somewhere, but they never practice, so they're really bad at it. So this looks like in the end it's a kind of a consent or something. And you know what? I'm gonna have a wire coming out of it. That's gonna be nice. There's actually something plugged in there. So just working out the perspective quickly, so it would be coming out like something like that. That doesn't look very safe. Right. Yeah, looking at it, I think my perspective is a little bit off, so I'm just gonna fix that. All right, it's kind of better. And after that, I'm gonna remove this layer, and we can see how much of a difference it makes. I do see that often, like in other artists, maybe less experienced, they won't do that part, and then the drawing looks unfinished. So this is a good thing to do, to just give a little bit more life to your drawing. I'm gonna draw a box that's on the floor. So I'm trying to freehand it. I don't know how good it's gonna come out. I just want to make a kind of little connection box. I'm trying to be mindful of the lines here. And If you hear some giggling, that's my daughter watching Voltron. I don't think you can make it out. Oh, merci Benoît pour le like. Benoît has been very supportive. It's very, very much appreciated. I had an interview this week, so I can't really reveal where because it won't be live for quite a while, but it was fun. I'm always open, by the way, to anyone. If you have like a podcast, if you have a video cast, is that what it's called? If you have a show like mine, or if you need a guest, I'm always willing to do these. I think it's fun. I love to do it. So if you want to have me, I'll be glad to take part of your show. So let me know. Just reach out to me. There's a contact form on my website, or you can reach out through private message anywhere. I'll be glad to look into it. It's always fun. Okay, so now I can erase that line here. Oops. I'm doing. It's very tempting to go and try to start working on those costumes, but no, I must focus on the texture of the floor. I guess they could be suppository as well. Who knows? So I kind of want to draw under the panels here. The reason for this is it's kind of technical and hard to explain, but it's the way my book is printed. I need kind of an overlap. So the image in the back, it kind of goes inside the middle of the book, and I need to like duplicate the image so that you can see all the details. So the middle is kind of so I need to, if I just straight put like that, you're gonna miss some of the detail on the left page because it's kind of cut by because it's folded inside. It's extremely hard to gauge. So I kind of approximated and it came out all right until now. And so one thing I do is try to limit the amount of detail close to the fold. It's not super obvious, but by having this separate, it makes it a little bit easier to manage that bleed. So I will export only these panels and then stick it on the spread. Actually, the way you supply this to your printer, because it's yes. So the thing to say is that it's a perfect bound book. So each page needs to be printed individually and then stick together. So so that's why, like, you need to count the bleed on the page as well. So you see where the purple line, like these two lines, this section here is gonna get cut. It's quite tricky, seriously. Yeah, printing is not it's not easy, and that's why I understand why a lot of people making indie comics, they kind of ask a graphic designer to help them. So I'm lucky that I had, well, lucky. I chose to take that training, so I wouldn't have any of those issues. I kind of noticed an issue because there's a glass there, and it should be here. And probably the frame inside should be less strong. If you look at a window, there's always, like, the pane of glass is not like sticked against one side. There's always a bit of a space. So that's kind of what I'm trying to fix here. So I think if I delete the inside line, what I'm gonna do is just lower the opacity so I kind of have a guide, and then I just want to draw this, but not as thick as I did, because it's kind of seen through the glass. So it shouldn't not be as thick. There. So the outside frame can be thicker, but this frame should be a bit thinner. Yeah, so I might need to do some adjustments on the picture. So one thing I started doing, and I didn't start at this page, was using a kind of a ruler, like using the perspective guide to kind of guide my line. It saves a lot of time just from the mistakes that I don't do anymore. It is good practice not to do this, but at this point, you know, I'm sure I could improve, but I just want to get it done, you know. I hope that doesn't sound too bad. But it's already very time consuming. So I'm not sure how much I was gaining by not doing it the way I was. And I feel like I can It has improved a lot. I'm kind of good at drawing a straight line. I'm sure I can improve more. But so many artists use rulers, I don't think it's a sin that I'm not, that I am as well. Seems like I was not even following the right line here. Fixing that at the same time. Maybe my line was a bit thick. So I'm leaving little gaps here just so, you know, it's a nice place to put little textures and little point of interest. Here, I can make a big bump there. Okay. So one thing I'm gonna do is add some kind of effect to the glass, and I'm gonna show you that after. Just want to finish the frame, my window. Okay. So now I can delete the frame. Okay. I think I kept the frame in its own layer, so I can just hide it. Oh, did I? Oh, that's my new drawing. Okay, it's this one. But it's very easy to separate. I'm just gonna keep the tiles in their own, and there you go. Put my new frame. Et voila. And I don't think it looks out of place at all. I think it looks good. So I kind of decided this is gonna be my way of doing things from now on. So see all those little holes I left, I can try to fill it up as kind of little nooks and make little cracks in the frame. Ah, I forgot to add the window here. Okay, so now what I was talking about. So often a good way to, and I haven't done that too often actually. Usually when I do window, so this is kind of a new thing I want to try. What time is it? Oh, 11:02. We still have plenty of time. So what I usually do for windows is I go and add a white layer and I kind of make a random shape on it. I kind of want to try something I saw. I don't know how good it's going to look. Maybe it's going to look like crap. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is draw straight lines. And when you draw straight lines, for some reason, the tool kind of ignores the sensitivity of the pen. So you kind of need to make your pen smaller. So I kind of want to draw straight lines. So to do that, you pick a point and then you press Shift. Like this. Okay, so point, Shift. And actually, there is a ruler called Special Ruler. And then I want a parallel line. And then they should all follow, and okay, I need to put my ruler in. Yes, like here. And I can just kind of put my angle like this. And then I can take my brush, and since it's a ruler, sorry, I'm kind of all messed up. You don't need to reduce. It's only when you're making straight lines, but when you're using the ruler, you don't need to do that. So now I should be able to make straight lines. Yes, and that's it. So, and I'm gonna keep that separate, because I kind of want to try both ways, the way I was doing and this way. And obviously not on top of the people. But you see this kind of technique often in mangas, like when there's a window. So, kind of trying something here. Just like that. And then to accentuate the effect, I'll take a brush and put a mask. And then kind of erase along the edge. It's a bit big. And I think I can take the Shift, yeah. So just erase along the edge like this. I think that's kind of interesting. Let's see how it looks. So nothing is destructive here. I can always undo this. So that's a good thing to keep in mind when you're trying stuff. That's why when Photoshop came up with Smart Object, I was all over it. Oh, finally we can make non-destructive things that we can reuse, and Smart Object were a really great idea. They just become very big. So by erasing along, I've been doing that for action lines, but just by erasing along the line, kind of makes them pop a little bit more. But when you color, you need to kind of hide that so you can select properly. But I think this is pretty cool. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it like that for now, and maybe when I do the color, I'm gonna decide if I want that or if I want my usual way of doing windows. So back to details. Starting to look pretty cool. See, just quickly, if I remove, you see how richer and more interesting it is to look at, right? But maybe a bit so. It's much more interesting, at least to me. Okay, I'm in eraser mode, so let's go back to putting little details everywhere. Happy little details. Maybe somebody stick the little sticker here. And there's an anarchist somewhere. I forgot a line here. Okay, it's not. Snap. I'll probably put some effect on the color window. So see these two layers, they're probably gonna live in their own little world. So that means that this, okay, I'm just going to reorganize a little bit. So my lines, they need to be in front of those guys. And that mask here, yeah. So I have my layer with my people and the lines are in front of it. I don't think I'm using this layer here. No. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the wall looks pretty good, but the floor needs a bit more love. It's going to be a macaroni on the floor. Here. And here. is, but it's a little garbage. So what I was saying is that I'm kind of drawing a little bit behind because this bottom layer might move a bit depending on how I make my bleed. So it's very technical, but I kind of want to some ways that this background image might move a little bit. And also I'm thinking that I might want to use this in some other way. So I won't spend too much time to draw every single detail here, but it's kind of interesting. I wonder if I can use it somehow in some other way once it's done. maybe some random little things there. Just trying to make it interesting, something to look at. To find little details, it's fun. Kind of reminds me of Marley's collar in Chrono Trigger, her necklace, when she uses her necklace. The Millennium Fair. I played way too much of that game. Okay, so how does that floor look? It looks pretty damn dirty. That's perfect. Okay. Everywhere, nothing too empty here, no. You know, just make it interesting. Okay, so if I put back, looks pretty good. Now my guys are a bit simple. I kind of was thinking of putting another character under, but nobody's gonna see it. It's just gonna make things more confusing. So I'm kind of not doing it. So let me see. This is not what I want. So my bums are on their own layer. Create another layer. I just want to add a little bit of effect to them. They're not perfect either. It's that same kind of effect. I just put in. You don't need too much, but maybe just add more. Not much, but it does add just a little bit more, I think, and it took me a minute. So I think this is worth to doing. Just adding a little bit of specs around. So this character is a little bit cleaner, and that's fine. Okay, so I think my bum don't need much more than that. I just noticed though that my top frame is lacking a little bit. And I'm gonna add something else here. I'm gonna add And I think that's gonna make a big difference in how this looks. I'm gonna add a wire coming down like this. How does that look? It doesn't make sense because in my other view it wouldn't be possible, so I'm gonna leave it. Good idea, but it doesn't really work in this context. Okay. So I think this is pretty much okay for the as the spread part. So now I'm gonna look at that right page. Those details, as you can see, I think it made a big difference. I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna put in that BG layer, and you see my bums and are separate if I need to do anything about it. Yeah, so right page. So I didn't do any kind of masking here. Wait a minute. Yeah, so one thing that's still needed to be done on this page is on the spread. I need to fill those frames, and I already filled one, but that's kind of boring work. I don't want to do that in front of you. Basically what I do is I take panels from my my comic and I put them in, and then I retrace them so it looks like it's part of that. I think it'll add a lot. And as far as little details like I did here, the scene is so far that I don't think it's gonna add much. It's gonna, I mean, it just might make some more noise. I kind of want to keep it simple like this. I can always do it later, but for now I'm gonna leave it like that. Now those pages, those panel here are much more interesting. Seem much closer, and now it's much more worth to do that kind of detailing. Yeah. So you might have noticed that you know, my the whole background is drawn. I want to keep the background separate because I often will put it in a different color just so that the character can pop out more. So that's why it's in its own. And I kind of drew it behind. It's because it doesn't take much longer, and then I make sure that the lines connect. You know, when you're drawing, when you're drawing like a table like that, it's hard to follow the line if you don't see it, and so it took the same time just to draw the whole thing. Now the floor lines, I kind of noticed that I'm missing some. And it doesn't really matter that I draw like this because once I put the color in, they will be on top and the layer will be behind. So it doesn't really, I can just draw a whole background and it doesn't impact anything. So, and I lower the opacity so that I can more easily concentrate on each layer separately. I can identify them more easily like this. But once I put the color, it's going to be, the lines are all going to be gone, so it's not an issue. So this will continue like this. It's very tricky. I was sure that this line would be here, and yeah, so that's why using perspective guides is a really useful tool. See, it does, this line does come out here, so I don't think I could have eyeballed that at all. All right, so this one is here. Okay. Yeah, so there was a few lines missing. Okay. Now this floor, I can add some more detail to it. As far as not as dirty as the other one, but adding a little bit of interest to it nonetheless. Yeah, not more than that. Some panels they were almost done. I think this one looks pretty good. There is one change that I did. Now to Gauthier, I need to draw a TC logo on his shirt. And I've been eyeballing it up to now, and it looks kind of okay, so I'm gonna continue doing that. And it's 11:32, which means it is over for today. Yeah, so I think basically it came out pretty nice, that new layer of detail. I think it adds a lot to the drawing. I'm very happy about it. And I hope you've enjoyed it as well. If you're watching this after the fact, then feel free to leave a comment. I always love to hear from you and anything you might have to say. If you have any question, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer it on the next show. And of course, my book is always available on my website. It is shipped by me. It is printed locally, and I will sign it with pleasure. And if you want, there's an option to have a little drawing as well. And if you get a book, I was thinking of just adding one of those little Santa Claus as well inside your copy. So if you order during this time, then I will send you one of those. And if you want to just to have a postcard, it's gonna, if you've bought a book from me, just message me, and I'll be happy to send one your way. Otherwise, if you just want to have one, well, just email, or not email, but you can write me a message. I'm gonna ask you just for postage and material cost, which would be about $4 if you're like in Australia. So if you want to pay more than that, I'd be happy to take it. But otherwise, just let me know, and we'll work something out. That being said, this is it for today. And likes, shares, and follows are super appreciated. If you want to share this with people you know, this is a great way. I don't have any people working marketing for me. It's all me. I do everything, so your support is hugely appreciated. And that's pretty much it for today. So I will say a great Saturday, rest of the day to you, and we'll talk again next Saturday. And bye-bye.